Some silences don't need breaking. They just need company. My name is Liana, and I came north to disappear. After the divorce, I packed what mattered: a few books, a notebook, and a silence I didn't know how to carry. The cabin was small, wooden, tucked among birch trees and snowdrifts. The air here had weight, like breathing through glass. Days passed slowly, the kind of stillness where even time seemed to hesitate. I wrote a little, walked through the snow, tried to remember what solitude was supposed to feel like. Then one morning, I saw her, a figure in a gray coat, kneeling near the frozen creek, camera in hand. She was focused, calm, as if she'd been waiting for that exact light. A few meters away, a small reindeer calf lay trapped in the shallow snowbank, trembling. I ran before I even thought. She turned sharply, blue eyes under a fur-lined hood. "Careful," she said. "He's scared." "So am I," I replied without thinking. We worked together. She held the calf steady while I freed its legs. When it finally stood, unsteady but alive, it lingered just long enough to look at us before vanishing into the white. She smiled, a small, quiet smile that somehow felt like sunlight. "Good teamwork," she said. "I'm Elli." "Liana." We stood there in the snow, steam rising from our breath. The forest around us was endless, a cathedral of silence. She pointed to a cabin through the trees. "That's mine. You should come by later. I make terrible tea." I laughed. "Perfect. I've got terrible company." That evening, the wind rose. I found myself walking toward her place anyway, guided by the orange glow in the window. Inside, the smell of pine smoke and camera film. Elli sat by the fire, a mug in her hands, her hair still damp from melted snow. "You came," she said. "I didn't want to." "I'm glad you didn't listen to yourself." The storm outside grew louder, but inside, only the soft crackle of fire and the warmth of two people who hadn't expected to be seen again. The wind howled through the trees that night, pressing snow against the windows like soft, persistent hands. Elli added another log to the fire, and the flames jumped higher, painting her face in gold and shadow. "I never meant to stay here this long," she said. "One winter became 3. The silence grew on me." I smiled faintly. "Silence is easier than people." She looked at me, steady, unblinking, until it isn't. For a moment, we both listened. The creak of wood, the sigh of the storm outside. She poured tea, her hands trembling slightly, though the air was warm. "You're a psychologist, right? So tell me, why do people run away from what they need most?" I thought for a long time before answering. "Because sometimes it looks too much like love, and love hurts." She didn't reply, but her expression softened. The firelight caught in her eyes like melted ice. "I used to think photography was about freezing moments," she said finally. "Now I think it's about learning which ones to let go." "That's almost poetic," I said. She smiled. "You sound surprised." Outside, the storm began to fade. The world beyond the window was white and silent, as if reborn. Elli stood, walked to the window, and traced a line through the condensation with her finger. "When the snow melts, I'll probably leave," she said quietly. "Where will you go?" "I don't know. Maybe nowhere. Maybe here, if it feels different." I moved closer, standing beside her. The warmth from the fire met the cold from the glass, and for a brief second, the air between us shimmered. She turned her head slightly, close enough that I could see the reflection of the fire in her eyes. "You don't have to fix everything," she whispered. "Some things just need to be felt." The words lingered long after she said them. When morning came, the storm was gone. The snow outside was untouched, perfect. She walked me back to my cabin, her camera hanging from her neck. At the door, she lifted it, smiled, and clicked once. "For memory," she said. "Whose?" "Both," she answered. I watched her disappear into the forest, her red scarf a bright thread against the white. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I'd escaped life. I felt like I'd stepped back into it.